Hello and welcome to this special edition of The Big Fight. You know, in a cricket match, there comes that moment halfway through a one-day match when sometimes you are tempted, the batsman is, to try and hit a six right over long on it. It works, great, your run rate starts to move, and that's something what the Prime Minister tried to do this week. It's a big bang measure that he has taken by demonetizing all 500 and 1,000 rupee notes, which effectively means 85% of what was the currency of India is no longer valid. It's not legal tender. It has to be either exchanged or deposited back in the banks. Now, there are strong reasons to believe that this will have major long-term gains, and we will discuss those during the course of this episode of The Big Fight. What are the long-term gains? Are they as big as we think it will be, or are there some flaws in there somewhere? Equally true, there have been a lot of short-term pain. We heard the Prime Minister and others in the government saying you have to bite the bullet, you have to take the short-term pain because of what happens. And we're going to be discussing that as well. The question of execution. Could this have been executed better, or is that always something easier said than done? This is, after all, 85% of the currency of the country that has to be changed. And also, the political aspects of all of this, we will touch on that too. Now, this episode, I said it's a special episode because we're going to try and touch in on a range of views from across the spectrum. Experts, politicians, the audience out here, reporters out in the field, all of that is going to be happening. But let me start welcoming our guest, JVL Narasimha Rao, BJP spokesperson. Great to have you with us. Tom Bardakan of the Congress Party is here. MK Venu, founding editor of the Wire.in, has been helping us analyze a lot of this over the week. And let's see if you have some of the answers as we go forward. It's great to have with us here in the studio Rohit Raj Modi, who's the Vice President of CREDAI, which is the real estate organization. Real estate perhaps is the one which is most trying to figure out how do we get our heads around this. So it'll be really fascinating to get your views. Surendra Bhadoria of the Bahujan Samaj Party joining us. The politics of Uttar Pradesh is really going to be interesting. What's going to happen to perhaps some of the cash that people were trying to put together? It's interesting to get your views. Prasenjit Bose, leftist economist, is with us as well. Adarsh Shastri, spokesperson and MLA of the Aam Aadmi Party. Kejriwal today said the whole thing was a scam, and we have to figure out why he thinks it's a scam. We're also going to be hearing in a little later from Mr. Sridhar GB, who's the chairman of All India Gems and Jewellery Trade Federation, and from Abhiyaan. But we'll come to all of that in just a couple of minutes. All right, before I come to the long-term gains, because we do need to talk this thing through, and we need to see, you know, how that actually works out. Today and this week, Well, you will agree that for the vast majority of people, right now they're obviously focusing on the pain, because it's been a really tough 2 or 3 days. You know, people's standing in queues for hours and in front of banks, in front of ATMs, and sometimes the poorest of the poor are really taking the biggest brunt of this, because they don't have banking. The rich can actually use credit cards, but for the poor, they don't have access to all of that. So it's been a painful process, and I think a lot of people are asking whether the execution could have been better.
With this being a very sudden move as a frontal attack against black money and corruption, this could not have been done involving large number of bankers, employees, and so on and so forth. It had to be, the information had to be in the possession of a very few, so that it comes out as a surprise. And because it's a big surprise, you have seen the impact of it. That is felt all across the country, across all sectors. And by the way, in the first 2.5 days, nearly 10 crore people have already availed some facility or other at the banks. So
you're saying because secrecy had to be maintained, and you know what a secret is, that if you have more than 2 people, you've got to kill somebody to make sure that it is still a secret. So because secrecy had to be maintained, that's more preparation couldn't have been done. Well, there are some aspects of that which we will come to, and can I just ask you one question as an aside before I go to everyone else? BJP had no idea of this?
Absolutely.
Including no. BJP in Uttar Pradesh had no idea of this?
Absolutely no.
No cashing in of 500 and 1,000 rupee notes?
No, absolutely no. And actually 5 minutes before, let me give you my personal experience.
And tell me that.
Yeah, absolutely. 5 minutes before the address, I got to know there was a national address by the Honorable Prime Minister. I thought this could be something related to the terrorism or problems at the LOC.
Okay.
And it came to me as a big surprise. I was outside and I heard it on telephone.
Okay. Well, Tom Bardakan, the short-term issue first, and then I will spend, I want to spend time on both, the short-term pain and then also the long-term issues on this.
Well, the basic issue is, they said it's a secret issue, and then what we heard in public domain, that the planning was there for 6 months. The ATMs are in the shape that they are. Be what it may, that we heard this comment that even 100 rupees could have been fed into the system and the system could have been kept alive. All that apart, I'm into one very simple thing. Here's a surgical operation, which is what they have used the word. It's not the Congress party.
Yeah.
The surgical operation was intended on a patient. The operation is successful, but the patient is dead. The doctors don't leave the field. They don't fly off to Japan.
Well, hang on.
Yeah.
I know you're mixing a metaphor, but the patient's not exactly dead. The patient's had a painful 2 days.
Today,
A lot of times when you have an operation, if you go in for a knee replacement right now, Tom, if you go in for a hip replacement right now, you'll have a very painful 2-3 days. You're not dead. I mean,
patients have literally died. Today there was a kid, a few hours back, in Mahim. An infant 3-year-old is dead. 2 more casualties. There's been looting in Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, their own state, which is controlled by their state.
Okay.
A ration shop has been looted. Okay. And the prices, just let me complete, salt have shot up. What is happening in this country?
There is a lot of rumor mongering that's going on.
No, but
what does salt have to do with the currency notes? I'm still failing to understand.
Somewhere down the line, something is linked. What's happening?
Salt?
Today you go to a shop asking for something, they say, do you want salt? I mean, which is amazing.
No, and I think salt, I'm just coming from a shop, salt is available at the original retail prices. How many trucks of salt you want to buy, just let me know. I think it's available everywhere in Delhi, everywhere in the country.
And I'm going to come to the other politicians, and I'm also going to some of my reporters. The substantive point that both of them are making, right? One is saying, you could have done this a lot better. He's saying that if secrecy had to be maintained, we couldn't have done it any better. So weigh in on this. Which side of the scales are you on?
See, secrecy has nothing to do with preparedness in terms of pushing a large supply of 100 rupee notes and new 500 rupee notes, because these are the 2 denominations the poor people are demanding, right? Why couldn't they have done that? And I'll give you, Vikram, another health analogy. It's if the whole economy is like a body, there was a cancer of black money, it needed radiotherapy. What they've done is chemotherapy. A lot of small cells are getting destroyed.
Yes, okay, fine. Could you have done it in a slightly different? Can I just do a quick snap poll of the audience, by the way? How many of you have experienced a significant amount of pain in the last 2 days?
And grudge it.
Okay, fine. Now, so not everyone experienced pain. How many of you in this audience would still welcome the step that has been taken? Wow, that's really interesting.
That's what a lot of people have been put to inconvenience,
so
but then they are saying it, this is in national interest, we are willing to put up with this little inconvenience, because it's going to cleanse our economic system. It's actually a surgical strike against the corrupt and the black money hoarders, and the common man is happy about it.
Surgical operation of the
can
common man.
Can I just give a rider to that? Can I give a rider to that? The rider would be, and I suspect if we throw it back to them, yes, I think the reason why all of them are saying they're welcoming it is because they hope and they pray that actually black money will be wiped out, and that the rich and the people who are doing hawala are not going to somehow be able through subterfuge to get away.
No,
then they will resent it.
Vikram, you should
resent it. Okay, hang on.
Vikram, you should also
all of you welcomed this. Okay? How many of you would stop welcoming it if the black money guys and the hawala guys somehow got away with it? All of you, I assume.
And Vikram,
they will not get away.
Please,
because even in the voluntary
please ask them another question. Do they expect that the nexus between big business and politics, cash funding of election, if it continues, will they be happy?
Okay, we can't do everything by an opinion poll with hands.
That's the surgical strike remains to be done.
Okay, so it's an interesting, this is an unscientific snap poll, but it's an indication that for the nation, that's what the Prime Minister said actually when he started making his speech, people for the sake of the country are willing to make sacrifices and if necessary, provided the long-term benefits come through, which I'm going to come back to that. Let me just weigh in from some of my other guests out there. Surendra Bhadoria of the Bahujan Samaj Party, among the people who've been speaking very strongly against this. There is short-term pain, but do you think it's justified because of the possible benefits going forward?
Well, let me specify that there are 2 issues involved in this entire decision the Prime Minister has taken. Number one, that he is trying to say that black money generated for terrorism and for other purposes, like the drug mafia and who are very active in this. Will it really be able to check, and who have been the beneficiaries of all this? Number one. Number two, in our view, it has been to divert the public opinion. The government, which has failed to fulfill the promises to the farmers, to the unemployed youth particularly, 2 crore jobs annually, and also of bringing back, they said this is a $4 trillion economy, we will bring back same amount of money and put 15 lakh rupees into each citizen's account, which they have failed to do so. So they thought that they will divert the attention. So therefore our point is that the drug mafia, this is all in Punjab. Whose government is there? They have not been able to check it, and they have been there for
but you know, they have taken a step. Mr. Bhadoria, can I be slightly, at the risk of being slightly uncharitable right now, is the Bahujan Samaj Party particularly perturbed because of the possible implication of all of this for the Uttar Pradesh elections? And my friend Sharad Pradhan had a very interesting article, which I'm sure you've read, as to the fact that, I mean, according to him, that, you know, ticket aspirants have been asked to now get some of that money back in again. I want to know how you would react to this particular statement. He says that all that money which they put earlier is now reasonably worthless. They've all been called in and saying you might have to put some of that money back in again.
Well, let me say this, that this is not for the Indian black money and parallel economies of $4 trillion as Indian economy is. So what is he trying to say, that this $4 trillion was with us? This is laughable, and I can only say this much. It is laughable. It is not even, I mean, let me say this, that people who support the Bahujan Samaj Party are the Dalits and the poor and marginal people who have no money, who are today standing in the queues, in the villages, in the rural townships, and also in the urban centers of UP. So therefore, we are the ones who are suffering the brunt of this whole exercise, and therefore we are opposed to it.
No, the extent of opposition of a political party is directly proportional to the extent of hit they have taken as a result of this surgical strike. I think Mamata Banerjee, Ms. Mayawati, Mulayam Singh Yadav, Congress party, these are the parties, including Arvind Kejriwal. He has stopped giving his details about his finances. Aam Aadmi Party is no longer transparent. They have stopped a lot of money. They are not speaking for the common man today.
Indication that this was a political move and nothing against black money.
No, it was not intended against you. But you are the affected party.
The Bharatiya Janata Party, he says he is targeted political parties.
No,
and that's the truth.
You have come out with this truth.
Let me assure him that this is a target on political parties, which is their agenda.
Why is political parties being targeted? If it's a strike against black money, why is it a targeting of political parties unless the political parties have black money?
No, that's the mistake. They have targeted, and you're going to see the elections.
I'm just trying to understand this.
In Uttar Pradesh, the people are going to speak. It's not the
why is it a targeting of political parties?
The people of this country are going to speak, and watch out.
Tom. If cash is being banned or legal as not being legal tender anymore, why is it a targeting of political parties unless those political parties were sitting on trunks and sacks and rooms and mansions and cellars filled with unaccounted for money, which is now worthless?
Assumptions. If any
if it's wrong, then political parties are not being targeted. They should be happy.
It is an assumption they've gone on, thinking that they will win elections in Uttar Pradesh by this surgical operation.
Alright, can I just get Adarsh Shastri? Before I come back to what Adarsh Shastri of the Aam Aadmi Party. Arvind Kejriwal today said, Arvind Kejriwal said today that this is a scam. He also asked for a rollback of this entire exercise. And that, I have to tell you, fills a lot of us with some fear. What do you mean by rollback? It means everyone's going to stand in queues again to give back their new notes and get back old notes. Is that what you want by a rollback? And how exactly is it a scam?
Vikram, so let me. So if you, I've very patiently heard all my other friends, and you patiently give me 1 minute to make my point. Without others butting in. I have just 2-3 points to make. Number one, 97% of transactions in the country are based on cash. 86% of the currency of this cash is 500 and 1000 rupee denominations. Overnight, midnight, Prime Minister Modi ji has withdrawn this 86% currency from the system. What has happened as a result? The people, the common people of this country, from Kashmir to Kanyakumari, from east to west, are now left with no practically usable cash with them anymore. There has been no thought behind this. The finance minister today came and said we are monitoring the situation. The fact is, out of the 200,000 ATMs, there is no cash available in most of them. At the bank branches, you yourself have seen and shown in your visuals, the queues are horrendous.
So
Thousands
10
of
crore
people, hundreds
people
of
have
people. That is
already
point number
accessed
one.
the bank
Point number one.
for one or other
Point number two.
transaction. And
Point
why
number two.
is a
Point
self-proclaimed
number, let me complete.
crusader
Let
against
me
corruption,
complete. Let me
Kejriwal?
complete. I heard
Why
you.
is he
I heard
defending?
you.
Why is he defending the corrupt and the black money holders today?
Let me
That's
make
the
my point.
principal question.
Okay.
I heard you.
Why
I
is he
heard
wanting
you.
to sustain
One at a time. One at a time, gentlemen. One at a time. One at a time.
Let me complete. Let me complete. Let me complete. Let me complete.
Yeah, carry
No,
on.
no, you are
carry on,
not
Adarsh.
listening, unfortunately. I have been hearing all of you. So this is point number one. Point number two, which is very simple, and please hear this out very carefully. The total amount of deposits in all banks put together, and these are figures of the RBI. As per RBI, in quarter 4 of the last financial year, approximately 95,000 crores was deposited. Quarter 1 of 2016, 102,000 crores was deposited.
Yes.
In quarter two of 2016, which is July, August, September, this average of 100,000 crores moved to 664,000 crores. Out of which Mr. Jaitley said, correctly so, that areas for the 7th pay commission account for 32,000 crores. And my learned friend would also say 65,000 crores is money collected on behalf of IDS.
Okay.
Even if I subtract that, at an average of 100,000 crores per quarter, what is the sudden spurt of these deposits going to
There has not been a sudden
532,000
spurt.
crores
I don't know what
in quarter
numbers you are
2?
basing on.
Okay.
You have.
These are the numbers of the RBI, and you have to
pull out
these
numbers from
numbers
its hat
are
for the sake of
happening.
spreading
Please
lies.
look at the RBI website. Please look at the RBI website and find out these numbers for yourself.
Adarsh,
in 1
The
month.
deposits.
Adarsh,
I think you can't-
Quarter 2.
Look, I think all this data will need to be looked at. I just want to, I know we'll come back to the politics again, but again coming just a little bit to the numbers. The issue is, again, coming back to what he just said, if it is found that people were bypassing the system, there's a lot of support from the people. It shows that by and large the people of this country are patriotic.
But
They're
the
willing
most
to take
affected
the
are the
hit.
informal sector. This doesn't
Yeah.
represent the informal
I know,
sector.
the informal sector is taking a bigger hit, but even they might be prepared to do it. But if it comes out that somebody was bypassing the system, it was going to be going through Benami, it's been sorted out through Hawala, this entire support will vanish, I suspect, and vanish really, really fast. Before I come to all, now I'm going to try and get some views on the long-term potential gains and seeing whether they are as big as they are. I just want to go to a couple of our reporters who've been out there in the field. Harish is there, Aishwarya is there. They've been out there with the queues and the crowds out there at some of those ATM machines. Harish, Aishwarya, what's been the sort of reaction and response you've been getting from people waiting in the queues? I mean, as patient as the audience here is, or have they been expressing slightly different views? Aishwarya, why don't I start with you first? What's been the sort of reaction you've been hearing?
Yeah, Vikram, I've been at one bank to another, one ATM in the other since the morning. If you see, I'm standing at Standard Chartered right now and there's no line at all, and that's primarily because they ran out of cash. Even the ATMs close by, ICICI, Punjab and Sindh Bank and other HDFC Bank, all of them ran out of cash at least 2 hours ago, which is a massive source of inconvenience. While we've been standing here for the last half an hour, at least 5 people have come in different cars just to inquire and see whether the bank has cash or not. And that is a definite problem.
All right. Harish in Bangalore, what are you hearing? What are you picking up there?
Well, largely since morning, most ATMs do not have enough stock of money. Each of them can go ahead and complete 440 transactions. And this is one of the rare ATMs that does have cash in it. But then it has a long queue and it has made the entire process cumbersome. As far as people perception is considered, it's a mixed reaction. One set of people say, why is government making it so difficult to withdraw our own money, while the others say it should be tolerated in the larger interest of the country. Some of them are here You have gone around in 15 different ATMs, you told me.
In just a
How do you
month.
perceive this decision?
This is a struggle worth waiting, and this is like an economic Swachh Bharat initiative.
Okay.
Yeah, actually it's a very good decision taken by the Modi government. So this is curbing almost the black money done by all this time by the VVIP persons.
Okay, there you go. They're saying this is a Swachh Bharat to clear the black economy, and they're ready to go ahead and struggle and wait till things get back to normal.
All right, it's really quite interesting to see people who are standing in the queues and still having that opinion. But on the execution of it, before I come back to some of the gains, one of the big questions that I'm somewhat baffled by is, if you take the ATM machines, why is there so much of a problem? We had the finance minister today, Arun Jaitley, saying the machines are not calibrated for the new notes. Now, I get your point about secrecy. Secrecy had to be maintained. Surely the new notes could have been designed in a certain manner that, first of all, by and large, the new 500 rupee notes would be the first to come out.
100 rupee
But
doesn't require calibration.
There's no point in issuing 2000 rupee notes. People can't cash them. They can't get change for it.
Vikram, 100 doesn't require recalibration.
But there is
Yeah,
a limit how much
you should have had five.
circulate 100 rupee notes.
But hang on, you should have had more 100 rupee notes. But even the new 500 rupee notes could have been designed in such a manner that they do get dispensed by the existing ATM machines. Arun Jaitley said today it's going to take 2 to 3 weeks. That means this torture is going to continue much longer than it should have.
Vikram,
No,
can I
this
So
is
the
look at
planning
this.
could have been
You see,
better, the
Vikram-
execution could have been better.
No, let me answer that. You see, there must be security reasons why you do not want to do a replica of the previous 500 rupee note. Because if your
It
attempt
can't
is
be a
also...
replica, it could be slightly different. Just make sure the ATM machine can spit
no,
it
but
out, that's
no,
all.
you see, this is a problem for 2-3 days. Okay, it's maybe a problem for a week. Or I think most people here, you can ask them. I have got 10,000 rupees drawn yesterday. I was also, I'm there as a normal customer, and I don't need cash for the next week, 10 days.
Vikram, the
So
middle class,
I think people
middle classes
don't
can,
have to go and stand in the
mid-
ATM
the
every
middle
day.
class and the rich class can endure it for a month. Jaitley has also said it may take a month for things to settle down. Informal sector cannot wait for a month because they live day to
No,
day.
we are more than
They live
concerned
day to day.
about you about
they-
this class.
If they stand
because
in the queue,
we are,
when
as
will
a
they go to
government,
work?
as
If
a
they
party in
stand in
power,
the class, when do they work?
as a party in power,
Let me come to some of the experts now. Judge, I'm just going to put the politics aside. Please bear with me for 10 minutes. I'm going to come to some of the experts. Real estate. One of the sectors that's been the most affected, and for real estate companies that you represent, and also a lot of those poorest of the poor are actually working on construction.
So
sites.
Vikram, I would like to say that over here, that as the second largest employer of informal sector people, we have 11,900 developers across the country, and not one site has reported unrest among labor. Labor is equally emphatically saying that we understand this. We are making do, okay, instead of getting 500 a day, they might be getting 100 or 200 a day. But even that is supporting this particular move. So it is only a paranoia that informal will get affected. As a second largest employer, we are seeing it, and that's what's surprising us also, that our construction sites are maintaining calm. People think that it's an occasion to stitch back this moral fabric of our country, which was torn in tatters, and everybody is willing to support this. Inconvenience is there, but people are willing to support this.
This is absolutely.
I mean, I've seen informal
point of view,
sector
that's
people
it.
being interviewed. You know?
No,
Okay.
The lines that are being made are they
scientific
ghosts or
example?
something? They're human beings. Who are they?
See,
As
we construction sector officially also to labor gets dispenses currency notes. I may not be doing it
Are you
directly,
being
but
able to do that? Are you being able to give your workers
so they're not
notes?
getting their daily dosage, but they're getting a reduced dosage. But then sites are preparing. They are trying to put some supplies into the labor camps and stuff like that. What I'm saying is that there is no hue and cry. There is no protest, strike, band. That we are going to go off the work, because it's been 3 days now. Yes, this inconvenience may continue for another 15 odd days. I am told that the government is trying to figure out a solution where labor in like tea gardens, which is again a very high labor, very cheap labor construction, can be aided. There is a mechanism that's being talked about where you will be allowed to open a special designated labor payment account, give a list of all the labor with the amount, and that much cash will be allowed to be withdrawn. It's still in the works. We might get a go ahead on Monday or something on that.
Your sector, so one is the workers are working for you. What about the real estate companies? Now, I'm asking you, and I mean, you say whatever you can on the thing. People know that the real estate sector has been really thriving on black money, or there's a large amount of black money. Maybe some companies don't do it, the listed companies may not do it, but that's the way it fundamentally is. I want to get your assessment, because it ties in with what the support is. are a lot of those real estate companies and construction mafias or builders mafias or whatever they are who've got black money, have they been able to clean it up in the last 3 or 4 days using some hawala channel, other hawala channel, buying gold?
So, we talk about real estate in a monolith. Real estate got layers.
Yeah.
Organized
I'm
real estate.
asking you about the worst layer.
Organized.
Have they cleaned it up?
Organized real estate, which is dealing with middle income housing from say 25 lakhs to about 1 crore, depending upon which city we talk about, tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. 90% mortgage based buying happens. Organized real estate is a victim of corruption. It's not a beneficiary. We need to generate cash for our approvals. We don't like that, So real estate sector, organized sector is 100% backing this. Yeah. We have probably never been prouder of our nation and the leadership than we did when this announcement happened.
Okay, fine.
Can
I just let me just get a view from another segment before I come back to some of the other political words I want to hear. I just want to get a quick sense from the jewelry industry, another industry that may have been affected a lot. Mr. Sridhar GV, just wanted to ask you anecdotally. We keep hearing reports that on that night, after the Prime Minister stopped speaking, in fact, even while the Prime Minister was speaking at 8:30, there were people running with bags and sacks and carloads of cash, buying gold for all they were worth, actually going to some luxury malls and buying, anything, buying computers, buying handbags, buying whatever they could find. Did that actually happen? And how do you think that the gold manufacturers and the jewelry sector is really reacting to this?
Firstly, GJF, All India Gems and Jewelry Trade Federation, supports this surgical strike in the black money. We welcome this move of this black money, and we are in support of Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji. That is one thing. Firstly, I wanted to say that. Secondly, yes, after the 8 o'clock announcement, till 12 o'clock, the money was supposed to be accepted. Yes, whoever the organized sectors were there, the organized sector will close their stores by 7:30, 8 o'clock, and maybe whoever the shops are open, customers have come and they have definitely purchased some jewelry, no doubt about it. But definitely there is a very big hitch in the entire industry. The entire industry is totally paralyzed, and this is, as you rightly said, Vikram, it's a short-term pain and a long-term gain. And we as a jewelry fraternity, industry, we support this move.
Okay, can I just ask you one leading question before I allow you to go? Is black money in the future going to be kept in gold biscuits instead of in cash? It's something which worries a lot of us. There's no point in doing all of this if black money is going to continue in the future. So is it now going to be all guys doing black money are going to be just buying gold and keeping it in that?
You have to very clearly understand there is a difference between jewelry and gold. Jewelry is a commodity. Sorry, jewelry is a product. Gold is a commodity. In jewelry, there is definitely a labor incentive involved. There is a labor involved in that. I don't think the black money can be invested in jewelry. There is a chance there it may be, invested in gold bullion.
All right,
but gold. It is not at all possible. This can be invested in jewelry.
Yeah, I mean, he's asking income tax rating on the jewelers, and perhaps that money is trying to be diverted out there for a certain period of time. All right, Sridhar, thank you so much for joining us.
Each and every industry, there is each and every industry, there is a black sheep. Definitely, that thing is there.
Too many
black sheep in every industry. That's sort of what he said also, and that's what you're saying. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining us. Prasenjit, before I come to you, let me just quickly get Abhay Aima also to weigh in. Abhay, markets are, somewhat confused. They were up, then they've crashed, then they're trying to make sense of all of this. What is essentially the take that you think is emerging? Now that everyone has had 2 or 3 days to think about this. Long term, are there benefits to this? Short term, is spending going to be going down radically? What is it that you are assessing? And by the way, if you could also help us understand how much money of the black money do you think is actually going to be flushed out of the system, and how much will be rooted back in through all sorts of dodgy means?
Okay, Vikram, if you look at the official figures of RBI, there is about 16 lakh crores, 15.8 or 16 lakh crores of cash which is available in the system. Now, if you break that down, 85% of it is 500 and 1,000 rupee notes, which is roughly about 13.8 to 14 lakh crores. Out of that, if you look at what is lying within the vaults and what is lying within the banking system, it is roughly about 3 lakh crores which is lying within that system. So that leaves you roughly with 11 lakh crores. One is assuming that cash in hand, legitimate cash, half of it will be that, so that's about 5.5 lakh crores. One is also assuming that, you know, a lot of people buying gold, distributing money, 2.5 lakh, whatever benefit they will use, give it to villagers. There are so many stories which are going around. If you do that, I don't, given the time frame, my guess is I don't think you will be able to absorb about not more than 50% of that. So that leaves you with a balance sheet surplus of roughly about 2 lakh to 2.5 lakh crores. So come 31st March, if my calculations are right, you actually have a surplus. So it's a note is an IOU. So effectively someone is saying that you don't owe me anymore. So that money comes back with you. So in terms of physical deficit, in terms of remonetizing, and you know, there are so many benefits out of this. There are, answering your second question,
I'm just trying to understand this. I'm paraphrasing what you're saying so everyone understands what you're saying. I'm just trying to paraphrase what you're saying so everyone understands this. And I hope everyone got it. What he's saying, and that actually is the big long-term big bang benefit that potentially comes. Let's say there's 2 lakh crores worth of black money currency notes that are not redeposited with the Reserve Bank of India till the 31st of December. That's what Abhay is saying. If that happens, it's suddenly a windfall gain. 2 lakh crores. It's a lot of money. Potentially that money can then be spent either to, I don't know, distribute it, to give a dividend to the government.
Recapitalize banks.
Recapitalize banks. By the way, there's another benefit. Banks will be getting deposits and their CASA ratio does go up a little bit, which is a sub-benefit. But potentially that 2 lakh crores, or even if it's a 1 lakh crores, can be spent in building infrastructure, building highways, spent on health, spent on education, spent on other things. Is that what you're saying, Abhay? Did I paraphrase you correctly, that there is potentially a big windfall gain which can be spent in a number of areas?
That's absolutely right. Even if my calculations are totally wrong, and these are very conservative calculations, the fact is, whether you like it or not, 16 lakh crores has to touch the banking system again. I mean, there is no way you can escape that, because that 16 lakh crore money, 13.8, 85% of 16 lakh crore is no more a legal tender. So even if it is 100% white, or you will do a miracle and convert it all into white, or do what you may. I mean, I'm hearing stupid theories like someone is saying Hawala money will happen. I mean, who in his sensible, if anyone understands Hawala, how can you possibly do Hawala right now? Who's going to accept it overseas? Then I'm hearing stories about how BJP managed to put it into the bank. But, you know, if someone puts into the bank, you are in the legal channel. I mean, you are then open to scrutiny, you are then open to, so it doesn't absolve you from anything. So, you know, the panic that is being created by people who just want to oppose things for the sake of opposing. I'm not saying this is a perfect solution, but for God's sake, if something good is happening for the country, we may debate whether it is 10% or it is 90%, but let's support it even if we are in the opposition. Okay. Because you are creating a panic. To give you an idea, you're talking of queues in the banks, for example. Yesterday in Bombay, SBI, the numbers were, the deposit was about 50,000 crores. Now, imagine the queues. There is no urgency. You've got till 31st of December. Why are you, I mean, the government is committed to it. Why do you have to get into a line? I can understand getting into a line to withdraw money.
Yeah, the line should be to withdraw money. Line should not be to deposit money. You don't need to do it. You have a month to wait.
By the panic that is being created, you're still getting...
Yeah. Okay, Abhay, we've got what you want. I'm just going to get everyone to react to what you've said, Abhay, because I think it's an interesting...
And don't please try and hoard money. I mean, take it for... It's a matter of...
Yeah. All right, Abhay, thanks a lot for joining us. We understood what you said, and I think it's a very valid and a very important point that you have made. Let me just go across to everyone and get their take on that. So, all right, look, let's assume for a moment that it could have been executed better, and yes, the ATM machine should have been able to do better, and maybe somehow it could have been planned and we should have organized it better. Let's accept that. And let's also accept the fact that there has been short-term pain, and it's really sad. There are deaths that have taken place. A number of 3, 4, 5 people have died while waiting in the queues, and that's again really sad. But Prasenjit, let me get you in on this. The point that is being made, and I'm going to come to all the others to also comment on what we've just heard. Point that Abhiyaan is making and what the BJP is saying is that there will be big benefits from bank capitalization, the money coming into the deposits, black money being flushed out of the system, and then crucially, maybe 100 lakh crores or 1 lakh crores or 2 lakh crore rupees in the kitty of the government, which can be used for health, for education, for infrastructure. Those are potentially big benefits. Prasenjit.
I think that is a completely erroneous, and I would say that it is actually a very, it is amazing that people are saying such peculiar kind of things.
Why is it peculiar?
Basically, what are we debating?
Prasenjit, why is it peculiar?
Yeah, you have come to me after 35 minutes. Or no,
don't call me odd love. My name is
2
Vikram.
minutes of your patience.
Yeah. I know
2 minutes of your patience.
Guests
2
right
minutes
now,
of your
still.
patience.
Yeah.
2 minutes of your patience. Don't behave like Arnab. The point is.
If I was to do that, I'll start shouting at you right now.
What are we debating?
Okay, carry on.
What are we debating? Every law-abiding and honest citizen of this country, an overwhelming majority of citizens of our country are honest. They are opposed to black money. I don't think that is a matter of debate. Number two, if we are debating the extent of the pain, I think that is also being very insensitive, because the pain is enormous. And the poor people, those who don't understand, they are sitting in, their luxurious chambers, or, they have online transactions. They don't know what the people in the informal sector, the poor man, the daily earners, the daily wage earners, what they are having to go through. It is an enormous amount of pain. The matter to debate is that whether this pain is worth. And all of us agree that the black money hoarders, the people who have black money, they should be brought under the book. They should be caught. They should be punished and their money confiscated. My point is whether that is happening and whether this step will lead to that happening.
But why are you saying it's not happening, Prasenjit? I allowed you to speak. I didn't interrupt you all this time. You're saying everything that you're hearing is nonsense and it's not happening. Why is it not happening?
It is not happening. No,
look,
why? Yes.
Prasenjit, you can always say, oh yeah, we need to do this. This is a wrong way to do it. Fine. Why is it a wrong way to do it? And do you have a better idea?
Yes. Look at facts. I have a better idea. Look at
other
facts.
Than catching, yeah, okay, sorry.
Income tax raids of this year. Hindustan Times today has carried a report and a study of income tax raids. Only 5 to 6% of illegal black money is stored in cash.
Okay,
so if you are talking
about
100 crore of black money,
and the Prime Minister also stated today, this
no. You are listen
against black money.
You are behaving
this
like
is one of the measures.
You are behaving like
You supported the Congress government, which gave this country a 2 lakh crore scam. And this step of the Prime Minister,
totally unfair.
He is
this is
actually
totally
trying
unfair.
to get 2 lakh crores from the black money holders. Why are you paying? Why are you standing up with the corrupt? Why are you standing up with the black money holders? Why are you? I think you have no reason to give.
From you.
You are only opposing either for the sake of it or you have something to hide. People have to see you through a prism of suspicion.
Please allow me to
3,000 crore was moved out of this country. In their regime, 3,000 crore.
Now, Prasenjit, hang on, Prasenjit.
Your tenure.
You are just
10 years of
Prasenjit, I am waiting for you to tell me why this will not work. You started by saying that what Abhiyaan said is nonsense. I have 1 lakh crores is not coming back to the system.
Number one, you listen to my
Why is it nonsense? I agree with you that the poor are suffering right now and they're taking pain. That part I agree. But you're saying that there's no benefit to it. I'm saying, why are you saying that?
Yes. Why? Number one, out of the total stock of black money, data from income tax raids show that the amount stored in cash, and that too not all that cash is in 500 or 1,000, but even if all that is, it is only 5%. Number one.
So get rid of that 5%.
The major conduits of black money.
Why are you protecting that 5%? Why do you want that 5% not to be targeted? If it's 5% according to your estimates, why are you absolving them of the crime? Why are you defending them? Why are you speaking up for them?
All right, Prasenji, I've given you 3 chances to tell me why it's wrong. I'm sorry, 3 strikes and you're out.
You are speaking for the black money holders.
Sudhindra Bhadoria, let me get
out who the 95% of black money holders are.
Fine.
You
are saying go after the other
way. You did nothing when you were in power. You were supporting governments at the center repeatedly.
Okay, can I one second. Guys, peace. One second. Venu. One of the issues. Okay, Prasenjit.
This is very unfortunate.
Prasenjit.
Now, black money.
Prasenjit, you're not an. Okay, can I just ask you to bear with me for 2 minutes? Now let me get somebody else's view. I've given you some time. Venu.
The BJP government.
Guys, can somebody. No, I'm not being. Sorry, what's your name? Prasenjit. I'm going to dip your mic now. Venu. I'm sorry to shock you as the wrong person. Can I ask? One of the major questions that we have been debating, and today I just want to touch on this before I come to everyone to get some final thoughts. You and I have been debating for the last two or 3 days a major point that, okay, look, this is a surgical strike on existing stocks of black money. But the minute you're coming in with fresh 500 rupee notes or 2000 rupee notes, then again black money generation can restart. Now today in Japan, the Prime Minister made a remark that has actually not been picked up too much, but I think it is potentially a very significant remark. In fact, why don't I play it for you? Everyone hear this remark of the Prime Minister, and then let's see if we are getting the correct conclusion from this remark. This is what the PM said.
मैं आज फिर से यहाँ ऐलान करना चाहूँगा कि ये स्कीम पूरी होने के बाद दूसरा कुछ आपको ठिकाने लगाने के लिए नहीं आएगा, इसकी गारंटी नहीं है.
Okay. So one of the things that he indicated, and this is
more such strikes.
He said that there is no he said that there will be other steps against black money, which covers the point that Prasenjit was making, that maybe other things will be done going forward. That's one. Secondly, I also saw in that a possible hint to the fact that there is no guarantee that there will not be a demonetization again in the future. So anybody thinking of saying, oh, I have these 2000 rupee notes now let me start piling that up, there could be a demonetization again later. That's maybe one of the interpretations of that.
No, yeah, that could be one, but I think what he's also hinting at is, I'll be happy he's now the biggest evangelist for eradicating black money. That's what he's projecting himself as. So I'll be totally convinced, and the next step that he takes, and a structural one at that, which has not been addressed, is the nexus between businesses and election funding. BJP, and as per a report, 1000-page report lying with Arun Jaitley, I've seen it, 80%, 70% plus political party funding is in cash, shown in cash, denomination less than 20,000 from individuals who are not known from where they come from. BJP is part of that. So I'll be very happy if Narendra Modi and Amit Shah in the next election declare that if all the election funding is not from those 80% cash kitty. It's not from 2,000 rupees cash coming in. No, this is a systemic problem. I'm not attacking BJP per se. It's a systemic. All political parties are shown to be working that way. Will he have the guts to do that? And the other macroeconomic point I want to make, Vikram, is that the monetary shock from what has happened now, even if some of the benefits that Abhiyaan says will accrue after a year when the balance sheet improves, government's balance sheet, bank balance sheet, for a year, I feel that consumer sentiment will go down and growth will go down. Real estate price will, real estate sector will there will be a deflation, and there will be joblessness in the construction sector, and I can take a bet on anybody on this.
Joblessness in the construction. Okay, let me quickly get some comments from the audience before I come to final thoughts from everyone here. Gentlemen here, very quick comments, please. Yeah, speak.
Sir, I want to speak a question from Jeeval Narasimha Rao, sir. Sir, in Delhi there are 10,000 marriages in next 2 or 3 days. So what can they do? They will stand in queues in bank for exchanging their money, or if there is a limit of 4,000, then what can there is an alternative option for should be done for by Modi government? What is your reaction?
Okay, somebody getting married in the next few days, what do they do? Okay, comment from there.
So I I completely agree with Mr. Venu's point about the shock to economic growth, and the question really is about that you're wiping out the part of the of the 500 and 1,000 rupee notes that don't come into the economy. They will get wiped out. You're wiping out a significant amount of aggregate demand. So there is certainly going to be a short term.
Yeah, in the short term, but theoretically the government can reintroduce the money later.
But Vikram, the effect of that will take longer.
Yeah, but I'm saying it's theoretically
it's not
possible
short,
to
it's
do.
medium term. It's
but
a one year term.
All right, fine. One last comment, the gentleman there. Yeah. Carry on. Just speak.
The current demonetization move can actually be a blessing in disguise for the future generation of black money holders, because now they will actually invest those black money in gold and real estate, or move away their black money to foreign bank accounts.
Okay, I'm sure they're doing it already. But let me get final thoughts from everybody now. Adarsh Shastri, final very quick thought from you. We are almost out of time on the show. Let me get a quick thought from you.
Very quickly, Vikram, just one point. You know, the Prime Minister, the BJP came to power talking about bringing black money from outside back to Indian people. We have not seen any work in that direction. It has turned out to be a jumla, which the BJP president himself has said. This is a tactic where the common man is being horrendously disturbed. There are challenges at every level. The pain is to be seen, to be realized. And clearly, those who had that black money have already made sure that arrangements have been made. And today, the challenge that we are facing is what the common man is facing. And there is no answer for that.
Okay, Sudhinder Bhadoria, let me get you in. Final thoughts.
You see, the harassment and distress that it has caused to the marginal sections of Indian society is enormous and phenomenal. And let me also say this. We remember that during the emergency, the family planning was done to benefit the Indian society, and we saw Mrs. Gandhi getting decimated. Similarly, this kind of demonetization which Mr. Narendra Modi has done will be Vinash Kale Vipreet Buddhi, and he will face the consequence of this. But the people have suffered because of this step of the Prime Minister.
Removing 500 and 1,000 rupee notes is like family planning during the emergency. Is that a rather stretching the analogy a bit, Mr.
Yeah, some people are calling it financial nasbandi, which is Congress.
That's almost exactly what. That's almost
Possibly
exactly
it has done that to a lot of
what he
political.
said. All right, Prasenjit Bose, final quick thoughts from you. Prasenjit, the emphasis on the quick.
Well, I don't know whether you will allow me to speak properly again, but the point is that I think that the real way to confiscate black money is by conducting income tax raids on people who accumulate black money. They are not happening. Ordinary people are suffering, but all the black money holders, they are just you are allowing a window for them to convert. And that is how all these notes are going to find its way back to the Reserve Bank, because Hawala, through shell companies it happened. Kolkata is the headquarter of those shell companies. You ask the SIT.
Okay.
Which the BJP government.
All right.
That's the only industry that has developed for 25 years in Bengal.
All right, Prasenjit.
People are taking suitcases, coming to Kolkata and converting their money.
Okay, Prasenjit, but the two aren't mutually exclusive. Prasenjit, I'm sure after this, GVL Narasimha Rao will contact you, or Mrs. Jaitley watching this should contact you.
No black money holder is getting
organize the raids, because I agree with you. You should be, anybody who's involved in Hawala rackets must be caught and must be punished. Everyone here is putting up with the pain on the assumption that black money is being stamped out, on the assumption that Hawala is being stamped out. So certainly if someone is doing it, it must be dealt with, and it must be dealt with firmly. Now let me get quick thoughts from you. I mean, this should not be either or, you should be doing both potentially.
So, I think the long-term benefits, the consumer lending rates in our country will go down, give it 2 or 3 quarters, home loans, auto loans, personal finances lending will go down, because banks will have a lot of money. Fiscal deficit is going to go down based on what Mr. Aima was talking about, and simultaneously, bank which is one of the biggest borrowers in the market today will not be such a big borrower, so the money would be available for the Aam Janta, for common people.
Okay, I'm only have 15 seconds left. Tom, quickly, and then...
The point he's making, the banks, this is basically liabilities which they have to pay back. Now, the bank's capital today stands at about 8%. The Modi agency has indicated that there has to be infusion. Now, the point is, while we are against any black money operation, we stand by the government, but the practice and the practitioners who have executed this have
Should have
failed.
done a better job of execution. Okay.
Honest
Last
citizens
thoughts.
in this country for the first time are feeling or breathing easy, and they are enjoying the plight of this 1% corrupt people
they're
who
not
are actually
enjoying right now.
who are getting hit by this surgical
What kind
strike
of
by the Prime
enjoyment is he
Minister.
talking about?
No, these honest
I mean,
people
this
are
is-
definitely enjoying.
They have put
That's
them
the
on
reason they are
anesthesia.
taking this
They have
pain.
put people on
They are taking the
anesthesia and
pain.
they've gone into
They are
coma now.
they are
Tom, it's his
enjoying
final
your
comment now.
discomfort. They are enjoying your discomfort.
You have put
They
people
are
in
they
coma.
are
The country
they are
is
enjoying
at
the
Tom,
common
one
people
second.
in this country. You have given a message that it
Mr.
pays to be
GDL, you
honest in this
constitute
country,
that
and the
1%
corrupt
that
cannot
you
get
have
away.
Can I have a point to GVL?
we are out of time.
Shouldn't the BJP apologize for the inconvenience caused to so many?
No, we
I
have
agree. I agree.
Okay,
I
okay,
agree.
okay.
One word of apology.
Absolutely.
Okay, fine. Can I look?
No, you thank me for taking this step first. I have the courtesy of congratulating the government, and then you ask me to reciprocate.
You can't put the country in coma.
All right,
No,
I'm gonna-
sir, how?
We have
You
we
put
have
the
prepared the
on
country.
coma. The
You
economy
are
is in
speaking for the
coma.
corrupt.
Okay.
You are
Economy
speaking
is
for the
on
corrupt.
All right, gentlemen,
And
I'm
we are
afraid we are
fighting
flat
for
out of
the
time on the
fighting
show.
for the common
We're going to
man.
have to
We
leave
are
that
fighting
for
episode,
the
this
common
episode
man.
of The Big Fight right now. Thank you all so much for having joined us. I think it is a valid point. I don't think anyone's necessarily enjoying the short-term pain, but I think as we saw on this program also, a lot of people are willing to take it on an assumption. The assumption is that yes, this is a surgical strike and a decisive one against black money, against those in the Hawala trade, against those who are corrupt. And let's hope the government follows it through to make sure that all of those people are actually brought to book. That might make the short-term pain really worth it. You're watching The Big Fight. We'll be back again next week.